In today's tutorial, this is week number 2 of the crochet along, and we're going to learn how to do the actual fingerless gloves that are part of the perfect gift stitch along. And this is a really neat look, and you can do a pretty good job with these really quickly. And we're going to be using Caron Simply Soft Ombre. Let's start that right after this. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on these fingerless gloves just like you see, and I just want to let you know this whole thing right here is an embellishment, so it's not functional. It's just something to add a little bit of flair to your glove. The colors that you're seeing today are from the Caron Simply Soft Ombre line. You're not changing colors. That comes naturally like this in the ball. We're going to do some really funky stuff in the wrist area and then progress to the palm as well. So this is a really neat look and idea. You'll need a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook today, size G, and it's just really quick and easy to work on. So let's get started right now. Before we get started on this tutorial, you should know that there's really not a left and right on this particular project. You can actually make, see, that looks like it is they're both the same. So it's this embellishment that's on the top of it that makes it left and right. So when we get to do this pattern today, you can notice that it's the same pattern. It's just a different, just the way that the embellishment's been added to it. So let's begin row number 1 of the cuff area. Okay, so this is part of the cuff. You'll notice that it appears to be going on an angle, and that's because it is. So we're gonna start off and we're gonna get smaller and we're gonna get bigger. So we're gonna create what you can see as a seam line here, and you can see that we're gonna create something really quite cool, and we're looking for dimensional sizes when it comes to being able to finish this in order to get the right size. So let's begin. So let's create a slip knot and let's follow the instructions as we go. So here we go. Remember that the one on the hook never counts as 1, and we are to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and it says 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet, second chain from the hook. So just go into the first chain that you started with and just insert in. Okay, so we want to insert in, make that a single crochet followed by a chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the same one again, and that equals 3 stitches. Okay, so you've got to remember that there's a chain 1 space in between. Let's move up to the next row. Let's turn our work and move up to the next row. So we're gonna chain 1, and it says to do 1 single crochet in the first single crochet, no biggie, and then it says to do chain 1 and 1 single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So just pull it apart, look for the chain 1 space that's in between. It's gonna be relatively tight to get it in there, but just look for it, followed by a chain 1 and then into the final stitch for a single crochet. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's move up to row number 3. So let's move up to row number 3. So hopefully you're understanding the way that this is being put together, because then the instructions are gonna get more vague, because it's gonna assume that you know what you're doing. So we're going to chain 1 first and 1 single crochet into the first one. We then chain 1 and go into the chain 1 space that's in between. It's easier to see this time. Single crochet, chain 1, and then we skip over and go to the next chain 1 space over here. Okay, chain 1 and then single crochet into the final. So when we go to do this, we're playing in between the chain 1 spaces. Let's move up to row number 4. Turn your work, chain 1 first and single crochet into the first one. Okay, chain 1, single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, single crochet into the next chain 1 space. So you're skipping over that single crochet over there. Chain 1, single crocheting into the next chain 1 space, chain 1 and single crochet into the final. Do you get that? So you're just getting more and more stitches as you go. and it says to do this. So this was row number 4. So it says to continue to do this last row until it measures on the straight sides about 5 inches across. Okay, so you're working up directly on an angle. So let me just review again. So if we were continuing along, so you're gonna chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, go into the single crochet into a chain 1 space, chain 1, crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, next chain 1 space, chain 1, and then single crochet into the final. You get that? Let me review one more time. I just don't want to leave anybody behind. So single crochet into the first, or chain 1, single crochet into the first one, chain 1, okay, single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip over to the next chain 1 space, chain 1, single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, next single chain 1 space there, chain 1, single crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1, and single crochet into the final. So as per the instructions, so you can see it's growing up on a square. That's exactly what you want. So as per it says it should be about 5 centimeters across the straight edge. Okay, so it's almost like it's gonna be a square. So let's continue that, and I'll meet you back here. So I'm gonna carry on, and then we're gonna move on with the rest of this tutorial. So as per the instructions, we're supposed to get a square where the flat sides are about 5.5 inches long. Okay, 12.5 centimeters. And now I'm going to start, it says next row and the next row as per the instructions. So we're gonna start the first one. So it says to chain 1, and it says 1 single crochet into the first single crochet, like so. Okay, and then chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the next chain 1 space all the way down, all the way. So we're gonna carry on exactly what we're doing, but it's going to change on the very last stitches over here. So let me get there first, and then I'll see you back there. So just carry along this like you have been. So chain 1 and single crocheting into the chain 1 spaces all the way down. Okay, so don't go all the way to the last. Let me show you what you need to do, and then we'll carry on in the pattern. Now we're coming up all the way to the end, and we want to just carry on until the final 2 stitches. Okay, so we're just gonna carry on single crochet chain 1. So we normally have a single crochet chain 1 and then single crochet chain 1 right into the final single crochet, but the final chain 1 space we're gonna put 2 together. So just wrap and pull through, go into the final stitch and pull through, and then just with the 3 loops on the hook just pull through everything like that. That concludes that row. So we're now going to turn our work and start up the next row as per the instructions. It says to chain 1 and 2 single crochets over the first single crochet and the next chain 1 space. So coming into the first single crochet and then the next chain 1 space, we're going to just go into that space, pull through, and then pull through all 3 loops just like that. And then it says to chain 1, skip next single crochet, and just move all the way down the row like you have been. So chain 1, single crochet into the chain 1 spaces in between. Okay, so now we have to repeat that the last 2 rows 2 more times. So we're just being able to get it more narrower on the top here, and this will make sense as we're working on the pattern. So just carry on, and I will see you back here in just a moment. So we're coming up to the end of this row, and this row finishes as normal. Okay, so chain 1 in chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space, single crochet in the final. So we're doing all the decreasing on the other side only. So let's turn our work, and so this time when we go across, we're gonna repeat the first one of next row, and we're going to stop a little bit earlier, and it's gonna be quite easy to do. I think what they're trying to do on this particular pattern is that they're making it longer, so they're making this side finish easier so that this side ends up being longer to wrap around your wrist. I think that's exactly what's happening here. So let's begin again, and chain 1, single crochet into the first one. So we're doing a decrease on the other side. This is very much like a corner to corner afghan where we're decreasing on one side and continuing on the other to make it more of a rectangular shape, and I think that's what's going on. That's my best guess so far. So carry on, and when you get to the final 2 stitches you're going to want to decrease, then you're going to want to start another row where you're decreasing again and then do it once more, and then we're going to carry on for the rest of this pattern for the side seam. Okay, so let's continue that, and I'll leave that to you to finish, and then I'll be back and we'll start doing the palm area of the wristers. So I now completed the instructions, so you can see it's gotten a flat side here, and I've got my flat side here and now to the top. So now as per the instructions we're going to start decreasing on both sides. So this side we've been decreasing by stopping early and doing 2 together, and then we start with 2 together. So now what we're going to do for the remainder of these instructions is that we're going to start with the 2 together on this side, end with the 2 together, and then start with the 2 together, and then end with the 2 together, and this is going to continue to grow up, and this will continue to flatten off to making this into a large rectangle. So continue to do that, and do that all the way until 3 stitches are remaining, and it should be the corner that appears like this side but on this side. So we now have our panel, and it looks rectangular because we were decreasing on the one side. So what we need to do then is that we need to put the side seams together. So there's 2 ways of doing it, and there's wrong way, which I've already just done and I had to pull it apart, is that I put the long side, you see it's long, and I fold it over. Don't do that. I want you to put it so that the long side is out, and then essentially you have to fold it so that the long sides are touching each other like this. If you go the other way, what happens is that the wristers are exceptionally long. So if you go this way, okay, that's really long in comparison to your hand, and it will not fit as properly as, so you have to go the short ends together, and then using the darning needle and the string, what we want to do is sew those together. So we just want to match up the sides. So let's put on our darning needle like that. Okay, so I just want to continue just to match it up. Just do a whip stitch, so just using your darning needle, just whip it across. Do a nice job, just take your time doing it like that. Okay, and just work yourself down the shorter edge and just have everything match, and when we come back then we'll carry on in this tutorial. Once you're all the way across, the right way to finish this off is that you want to insert your needle going in 3 different directions. So you're going to insert going in the direction from which you came. Just put it through some fibers. Okay, so that's 1. Okay, now go back in the other direction in a different set of fibers for 2, and then go back in the other direction in a different set of fibers again for 3. The project can never stretch 3 different directions at one time, so therefore this will not fall out like so. Okay, so there you have your wristers, and that's what I can see so far. So let's carry on in the project. It looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty proud of that. So let's carry on, and let's get some other stuff going on in this project. Let's begin the next part. We're going to do the palm area of your wrister, and we're going to join the yarn at the seam line. Okay, where you've done the seam, and just join it to the top. Whoops, what am I doing with this hook? There we go, sorry. And you're going to join it with the seam line. Okay, just join. And it says to chain 1, so it's chain 1, and it says to do 21 single crochets evenly spaced all the way around. So this is where you can kind of customize it for your own hand. If you have a different size hand, I think that these gloves, for example, they're way too small for me when I really look at it in comparison to in comparison to my Frankenstein wrister. Yeah, I must have done something really kind of quick. So but you know what, this one will never fit me. Okay, so let's be honest about that. So you can do your own Frankenstein kind of gloves. So it says to 21 equally spaced single crochets all the way around. I'm going to just try my best and I'm just going to single crochet around, and basically because we have been using single crochets, the single crochet spaces equal each other. So you can just continue to go all the way around, just kind of match it up as much as you can. Aim for 21 if you're going for the exact size in the pattern, but this is where you can kind of use your own creativity. But try not to get a Frankenstein wrister at the same time. Okay, so just continue to go equally spacing all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way around. I've equally spaced my single crochets. I'm going to join it with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. So we're going to grow regardless of your customizing, if you've done exactly what I've done, but it's actually gonna start growing out to compensate for your thumb area. So we're gonna do that next. So in the next row, it says for rows 2 to 4, so for the next 3 we're going to chain 1, and then we're in the first one we're going to put in 2 single crochets. Okay, and then 1 single crochet into each of the ones going all the way around. Okay, so as long as you remember to put in that 2 in the first one, you're good to go. Please do this for rounds 2, 3, and 4. Okay, rounds 2 to 4 are now done, and it's growing out a little bit. So you can see that it kind of condensed a little bit, which is great. You know, that's kind of what you want. So even though my hand wrister is much bigger, it's gonna fit me, so that's nothing wrong with that. So let's carry on. So for the next 7 rounds, you're just gonna chain 1 single crochet into each going all the way around. So rounds all the way from 5 to 11 is just 1 single crochet into each. So this is gonna grow right in this area here. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create a hole then for your forefingers and your thumb to hang out of. So let's continue to do that. So rounds 5 through 11, just 1 single crochet into each. Okay, so we have rounds 7 to 11 done, so you can see it's a lot bigger, and we are now moving to the 12th round. We have a few more rounds to go, so we are going to start off and we're just going to do 1 single crochet. So if you're starting as chain 1 single crochet all the way around, except for the last 3 stitches we're gonna leave those empty. Okay, we're not gonna work those, and I will see you back here in just a moment. Just go all the way around and we'll meet you back at the end of this round where we'll leave some stitches empty. So I'm coming up all the way around, and I want to leave the last 3 empty and then start the next round. So we're gonna chain 3 to start the next round, and we want to skip over the 3 that are already there. Okay, so we're gonna skip the first 3. So you're gonna be totally skipping 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So go to the 7th if you're doing it the way that I'm showing you here on camera. And what this is doing is it's creating the thumb hole, so your thumb can actually go through there, and you're going to go all the way around of this particular pattern. Okay, so continue to do that, and I will meet you back here in just a moment, and I'll show you what to do from that point. So for the final 2 rounds and coming up all the way around, so when you get to the thumb hole, once again remember that you only chain 3, so just put in 3 single crochets right over top of it, and then jump to the other side of it and continue to go around for rows number 14, and then round 15 you're just gonna circle again, just single crocheting as normal. So you've already covered your thumb hole at that point. So continue to do that, and then you're gonna fasten off, and we're gonna do the strap really quickly, and then you can sew that on. That's just a complete accessory. It's up to you if you want to do that or not, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, once you come all the way back around, we're done this particular wrister area, and we still have to do the straps at this point. So I want to do a better job of getting my darning needle and really weaving in this end. This is obviously your hand, so you want to be able to protect it. So let's try my mitt on for the first time. I'm actually liking that this is more looser at this spot, so maybe I did do too bad of a job, and then it gets more tighter here at this point. So it's a nice length that will go up my sleeve of my coat, and it's got a nice tight fit here, and it looks really good. It actually matches the knuckles. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's do the strap next, and it just goes on the top. It's just more for show. So let's quickly review the strap. It's just a very quick line basically of a chain, and then just going all the way around the chain, and then you can see where it's being applied. So even if you have a different size mitt. So if I want, for example, this to be the left side or the right side, depending what video you're looking at, you just have to apply the strap to the whatever side that you want. So okay, so if I applied it to there, then they would match each other. So let's do the strap next using the same color of yarn. Okay, so we need to make 2 straps, and then you'll just sew them together. The button is obviously an accessory that you can add to it if you wish. And let's chain 11. So 11, so this never counts as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Second chain from the hook, it says, is to 1 single crochet each until all the way to the end. So I'm just going on the back hump only. It does a nicer finish, especially with this kind of high exposure area. The people are going to be able to notice this. So I'm single crocheting into each one. I just pulled the yarn from the ball, like wherever it was in the ball. Wasn't really too concerned with color. Again, that's a complete choice. That's up to you. If you're trying to match your flower that the set has with the scarf and the headband, then you could use the flower color, I guess, too. Once you get all the way to the end, you are going to chain 3. So you're going to the last chain, and then on the last one you are going to do 3 single crochets. So I've already done 1, so you're gonna do 2 and 3. And I'm turning around the chain, so now I'm working on the chain on the upside down level, and I'm gonna come out across on the bottom side. Okay, so I just continued to turn the chain. So now I'm working down the other side. And it's an easy effect. It's just this is completely an accessory. Sorry, I'm slipping up on my words. I've been filming 10 hours today. Okay, so let's continue to go along, and right at the very last one you just want 1 single crochet and then fasten off at this point, and you were just gonna use this piece and just sew it to the top of there. So if I just fasten this off real quick, use your darning needle to really hide in those loose ends and really get it in. So when you get your glove back or your wrister back up, you can just obviously just go along the top, and it looks like a really cool effect. Obviously if you change the size of your glove, you can make this longer. The only thing you need to do is just chain more, and so instead of 11 you could done 13 or 15. You could go all the way around too if you wanted to, and basically the creativity is up to you. So this is how you would do a glove at wristers. This is for the perfect gift stitch along for yarnspirations.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I actually really like my mitt. My sizing is way off, but at the end of the day I'd rather it be a little bit looser anyway, and then I can apply that right there. Okay, so until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Have a fabulous day, everybody, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.